there's nothing you've gone through that someone hasn't gone through. So if you just speak up, people are there that will help you, that will give you the information, that will be able to support you.
Public therapy. If you are just joining us, then welcome, welcome, welcome. We are here, we are live with Mr. CV. He is a British and he is joining us in the wee hours of his morning. He's in the future. How are you doing? Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly. I wanted to use the microphone, but when I put it in, I can't hear you after, so I have had to take it off, but it's fine.
Oh, okay, okay. No, I tell you these technical things, we're trying to get with it. But of course, we're so excited that you have joined. You've been to the Caribbean.
No, I've never. But if you give me an invite, I definitely will make a visit for sure.
Because it's about an 8-hour flight, if I remember correctly. So somewhere between 7 and 8, depending on what you're taking.
Yeah.
To get to us over here in the Caribbean. But it's always good to meet up with fellow persons. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Mr. CV.
About myself personally, or about my YouTube channel, or which one in particular?
You want to share with the tribe? Because when you're a part of the tribe, you are a part of the tribe.
No, I'm 28 years young, so I'm still very young, but people around me say I've got a very old mind for a young person, so I don't know where I fit in, to be fair. I was born in Nigeria actually, so I came to the UK when I was 10 years old, and since then I've always lived in the UK. I've not been back to Nigeria since I've been in the UK actually, which it's a very, very long time. So apart from that, I've just literally finished my master's in education, so my job is I work as a teacher in the UK as well, and I just do a lot of things as well to be able to occupy myself. I keep my mind busy. That's me in a nutshell, to be honest with you.
You really are not just a cultural melting pot, but you're also a career melting pot, because you do a lot of things. I never picked you for an educator because of your YouTube channel. You do it so well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I thought you were just a professional content creator.
Nice. I'm very pleased about that, to be honest with you, but I didn't think that at all.
You really are a you're an educator. Great. At what level? Primary, secondary, or?
The thing is currently I am primary level mostly, because that's where I'm based, but also I do go to secondary schools and teach as well, because I'm a PE specialist.
As an educator myself, I'm more tertiary, so
okay.
And the importance of imparting knowledge, and of course just kind of being aware of different things that's happening around us. What led us together is you reached out about mental health, and of course mental health is my forte. You asked me to check out your YouTube video, and I want persons to go on your channel to subscribe as well as to watch the video, and it's about mental health. And it really struck me because it is from a layman's term. It's pouring out your heart, saying, I didn't really understand, the flow of mental health as it. And so that's what we're here to talk about tonight. So tell us a little bit about that particular experience. What was it, that experience that got you interested in mental health initially?
No, 100%. Obviously, where I'm from, obviously being Nigerian or being just black in general, obviously when it comes to mental health, is not something we take serious or we overlook. Even thinking about it, because I must have been in the gym yesterday and I was telling someone that obviously I'm coming on here to talk about mental health, but I was like, oh, you didn't even ask of me. I was like, oh, I don't need to ask of you, you're okay. But I was like, what makes you think I'm okay? He said, because I'm in the gym. I was like, nah, you should also ask for myself as well, because it's important that you. But it was like, oh, I was like, I could be suffering from mental health. It was like, what do you mean? Like, he said, if you said to your grandma or your granddad that you're suffering from mental health, will she take you serious? I was like, that's not the point. But what I'm trying to say is this is obviously when it comes to mental health and things, we just overlook it. When that event happened, that's when I started to take it a bit more serious, because the person that it happened to, he was a very, very active, sporty person, because I'm very, very active and sporty, because I studied sports coaching and PE at university. So we used to play table tennis together, me and this guy, and he played basketball mostly. And what happened was, I was working at my university at the time. With the work I was doing, they gave me an accommodation with it. And because obviously I had 2 jobs at the time, I was a bit laid back, because I was thinking, oh, if anything happens, there's always a job available. But what happened was, the one night they gave me the accommodation for, I lost that job. So they ended up kicking me out of the accommodation, because the accommodation came as part of the job. So when they kicked me out of the accommodation, I was looking for places to stay. And the thing about me as well is, because I'm a Muslim, it was a time of fasting at that time, which meant I didn't really need to eat as much. So all I needed to do was just work, get a bit of money, and I didn't need to eat that much. And also during the time was a summer holiday, which during the summer holiday, we normally have these people from like different countries who come to the UK to come and learn English. So as I got kicked out of that job, normally what I should do is go and look for another accommodation, rent it out. But using that mentality of, oh, I'm trying to save as much money as possible, I'm looking for the easiest way to save as much money as possible, but also pay basically nothing. So I'm looking around, I'm searching around. Then I thought, oh, this guy that this thing happened to, I thought, oh, let me go and stay with him. But with him, he was also working on the accommodation it was in. But while he was working, he was the main person. So I thought, okay, you know what? I don't really mind where I sleep, as long as I just find somewhere to lay my head, go to work, I'm good. And plus, most of the food where I was working as well at my university campus, they give us food. So I thought, okay. So what happened was, I started sharing a room with this guy. And to be honest with you, the first day, second day, everything was fine. We was playing PlayStation, everything is fine, video games, no problem. What happened was, by the 3rd day or so, I started noticing changes from him. And he was like, oh, they're against me, they're this, they're that. So I'm like wondering, like, who's against you? Because I'm looking around the room and I'm not seeing anybody, so it's hallucinating. I'm like, no. And obviously for me too, it was a bit strange, because I don't know what to do. So what I started doing was, from his room, I started graduating myself to the lounge. So I started saying, okay, let me go and sleep in the lounge instead, just in order to be safe. When I went to the lounge, I saw him, he would walk around saying the same thing, they're against me, they're this, they're that. Then there must have been a time where obviously he was holding a knife, and I must have came back from work early in the morning, and as he was walking around me, obviously I couldn't sleep properly, because I was looking at the direction of where the knife is going, because I'm like, it could go anywhere. So I can't sleep. I have to sleep with one eye open, just to be sure, like, just to know in the direction of because anything can happen. So obviously nothing happened, but obviously it's still a scary moment. And obviously after a few things happening, then what happened was, another time I went to work, and he must have made a video on Snapchat saying, oh, bye to my mom, bye to my dad. Like those videos people that are suicidal make. So obviously, being ignorant as I am, I saw that video and I just thought, oh, because he's from Ghana, he's black, nothing, we don't take it serious. I thought, and I'm tired as well. As I got home, his flatmates started banging the door. Oh, have you seen the video? Have you seen it? Obviously, I tried to act as if I didn't see the video. I was just like, oh, I didn't see the video. What happened? Like, try to dramatize it. Before you know it, the person's phone, she was a girl, her phone died. So they were looking for a phone to call the police. They now used my phone. The problem with me was, I wasn't meant to even be staying with him in the first place. So obviously, by me getting involved, now it means I can't get kicked out of the accommodation again. I got kicked out from my last accommodation. Now I'm getting kicked out again. I'm basically homeless, basically. So what happened was, after she banged the door, we called the police. It was a very tough time because obviously, first of all, I got kicked out, so I've had to look for another place. So I now looked for another place. It was with a guy. He was an international student, but he was living there with his sister. It was his sister's place, but he was living there. So what happened was, I didn't know he was his sister's place. I thought it was his place. I went to go stay with him for a bit, but the problem was because he did like a lot of smoking and things like that. It didn't suit my lifestyle because I don't smoke, I don't drink, and obviously the smoke was affecting me as well. And after this one, I said to myself, get a normal place, make sure you're fine. And it also taught me as well that sometimes you just have to spend the money and just for your own comfort instead of trying to save, just spend the money. But back on the mental health guy, what happened was the next couple weeks, going police station, giving statements. Literally, I think I spent more time at the police station than at work because it was just literally giving statements. Oh, how do you know the guy? What's he says? And to be honest with you, eventually they found out that the guy was back in London. I think it was with his family and everything was fine. But since then, after I saw him afterwards, he wasn't really the same. And that was what really touched me because realistically, he was a person who was playing sports with, active, physically active. Now, he doesn't remember who I am. He doesn't remember so many things. He's not the same. You know, when someone used to function properly, now they're just like dormant, basically. And to be honest with you, it was really tough. There was a video that I did that was talking about I had a knee injury. That was the video that impacted me on making my YouTube channel, which was called MrCV. Because what happened was, when I had the knee injury, I was leading up to depression. Because obviously, I was a very active person myself. And when I had an injury, I was no more active. So it really showed me that you need to work on things such as your mental health, your physical health, your social health. And these things makes you, which is your CV. That's the reason why I'm called MrCV, by the way. So that's the reason why. And for me, when that happened to that guy, especially knowing that he's a physically active person, to now not be physically active again, and just, it's like his whole life changed just on that. And after that, I said, you know what? Mental health is something that is very, very important. It's very, very important. Even sometimes I just go and physically make sure I train my body and my mind because your mental health is one thing that you can't physically see. I can't see your mental health, you know what I mean? So it's very tough to really treat in a way. If you're not mentally there, if you're not mentally available upstairs, it's very tough. And you need your mental health because that's where most of your strength comes from. Even when I started this YouTube channel, I needed to be mentally ready because I know that very soon, if my channel does get bigger, there's going to be a lot of criticisms. There's going to be a lot of backlash. And if you're not mentally ready, trust me, you will be starting to feel depression. So it's very, very important. And I think that really showed me that, look, a lot of people, and it's very common, especially in the Black community, where people just feel, oh, mental health, like it's nothing, is you get over it. Sometimes it's very, very difficult and it's important. So since then, obviously, I use my channel to be able to talk about my experience, some of the things I've seen and I've faced, and hopefully, and I'm very appreciative that platform like yours, I can come and express myself as well. So yeah.
And likewise, it's really an uphill battle because you've made a lot of very important points, that we can just, quickly look at. The Black community is one that doesn't really focus on mental health as we should. And I don't know what it's like in London, but I know for us within the Caribbean, because of the different separations and colonization, it's this routine of keeping your problems to yourself, and you don't want to bother anybody. And of course, that's for white people, certain for white people. We just keep it to ourselves, be private and more secret than anything. And that's one of the things that actually holds us down as a community. We really are resilient because we go through a lot. But we are anchored on this idea that we should keep things secret and private. And as a result of that, it has a lot on our mental health. We participate in different things like sports, and we are ambitious, and we're getting up and we're going to work and we're going to school and doing everything as we should. But at the end of the day, it's us who are ambitious that are at risk for these mental health conditions, because we're not stopping to take care of ourselves or to talk about our problems. We'll have to be a little bit mindful of that, because your friend, flatmate, roommate that you spoke about never appeared to be somebody who was having mental health challenges, especially the fact that he played sport, right? Because we talk about the exercise being a big part of, raising your endorphins and lowering your serotonin level and all of that. But at the end of the day, it was clear that there were some challenges that he was facing that he never really faced head on. What's it like in the London community, the British community? Is mental health something that is easily accessible, like getting mental wellness techniques and tips and therapy and so on, or is it something that you have to search for?
I think it's there, but what's happened is, due to obviously that fear or you're going to be judged and things, and the pressure, people just feel as if they can sort it out by themselves or deal with it by themselves. It's there because if you go to the doctors, or they can refer you to places, but I think is a mental thing. The reason why I say it's a mental thing is, like you said, not to stereotype or anything, but I'll say let's say the white people are more open to seeking those help. But I say us as black people, it's a case of where we feel as if, no, if I go and seek those help, there's certain stigma attached to it, and it shouldn't be that case. Also, there's a need to be able to create a system or community where people can openly come and speak up and be free and say, look, this is what I'm going through. Because obviously life itself is very tough. It's very, very difficult. And sometimes you need a bit of help. You need support. You need people around you that can help you. And like people say already, there's nothing you've gone through that someone hasn't gone through. So if you just speak up, people are there that will help you, that will give you the information, that will be able to support you. It's just a case of where, like I said, it's there, but people are just not ready to go and access the help. And until they are ready and they accept that, look, I need help, that's when they will get help. If they're not accepting that they need help, then obviously it becomes a problem, and we keep going through this cycle. And like you said already as well, in terms of the friend of mine, or the person, the roommate or the flatmate, obviously, since where he just seemed like a happy, joyful person, automatically you assume that he's fine, everything is good, but there might be a lot of pressure under his skin that he obviously clearly I wasn't aware of. But also, if he spoke up, maybe we could have tackled it. But because he didn't speak up, we just assumed that, oh, everything is fine. And until we had that meltdown, then that's when we were like, oh wow, these people are actually going through a lot. And it's a shame, really. It's a big shame, to be honest with you.
That we need to do within our community, fostering conversations like this, and even not being a therapist like yourself, but having had that experience and deciding to use a portion of your life and a portion of your platform to bring awareness to it. Slowly but surely, we are building a community where we're saying, all right, this is a safe space. This is something that we can talk about, one much like the other, like the other. And so after a period of time, we're supposed to be comfortable with each other enough to say, hey, I'm facing a problem. And it brings me back to the first point that you had made when the gentleman said to you, how are you? You're not asking me how am I, or something to that effect. And that's a question. Again, I don't know what it's like on your side, but here, it's almost like a fleeting greeting. Like, hey, how are you doing? You all right? Are you good? And you move on and not stopping to hear or to listen to what the person's response is. And I had a friend who We went to college together, and he is from Haiti, and I can't forget. He did this little experiment where apparently there is this French, this Haitian thing that says it sounds like Happy New Year, but it's not. So it's like I forgot I think it means how are you, but when he says it, it might sound like Happy New Year, and he says it's an experiment that he runs in with persons to see if they're actually listening. So it's like Happy New Year or something like that. And then they'll just fleetingly go on and say Happy New Year, even though it's not Happy New Year. And he says, see, I tell you, we don't really listen. And that awoke on my awareness to just how much we think that everybody's okay because we're not stopping, dropping, and rolling. And when things are said, questions are asked, we don't sometimes pause long enough to pretty much hear, what the response is. So that's something that we can also look forward to. As somebody who is pretty much the layman's advocate for mental health, what are two things that you can leave with our tribe members, persons who might be going through issues, or persons who might end up knowing somebody who might be going through a particular issue? Can you say to them?
The first thing I'll say is obviously is just to speak up, really, because I think that's very important. And is a case of obviously we go through a lot of things, and you just have to find people that you trust around you. Everybody got busy lives, everybody got things that they're facing, and obviously, as tough as life is, obviously we have to try and be as happy as well. Even though there's a lot of pressure that comes with it, but at the end of the day, it's important that obviously you speak up, because a problem shared is a problem halved. So if you speak up, you let people know, you share your problems with them, and I'm sure, and you'll be surprised, more people can actually help you than you think, to be honest with you. And trust me, more people can actually help you than you think. So if you just speak up, I'm sure some people have gone through that before. They can give you advice, they can tell you, look, this is what you should do, this is what you shouldn't do, because the last thing you want is go and make some irrational decision and then end up regretting later, which obviously, thankfully, the guy never committed suicide or go along those lines, but it could have easily gone through that pathway, and that would have been a total shame, you know what I mean? But obviously I haven't seen the guy for so many years now, because obviously I'm not sure where he is, and I can't say 100%, but hopefully wherever he is, I hope he's okay and he's fine. But like I said, just speak up. And the second part as well is important, that obviously, as much as because I know a lot of people that go to the gym, they want to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger or The Rock, basically, or you know what I mean. And it's good, but also it's about being fit and healthy, not just fit and healthy physically, but also mentally as well, and making sure there's so many things you can do, just reading books, learning, doing so many things, because the problem we have these days is obviously I'm young as well. I'm supposed to be, but I think everybody thinks I'm old now because I have an old mind, like I said, or old soul. So, I'm supposed to be in this generation, but I guess maybe I was meant to be born in another generation, but God just deposited me in this generation. I don't know. But what I'm trying to say is a case of where obviously we have this generation where all they just do is just constant social media, and the problem with that is obviously you're being fed so many things in your mind, and these generation, they're quick to believe everything they see. Oh, this you shouldn't do, that you shouldn't do, this is, before you know it, it becomes too much. So it's very important that obviously you're careful about some of certain things, but like I said, it's important that you work on your mental ability as well, because that, for me personally, it's your mental ability is a way where it helps you to navigate so many things. And I think those two things, for sure, I'll say your tribal talk people should definitely take. And yeah.
What we appreciate you.
Isabel, thank you so much for allowing me as well to, obviously, when I share my link, you don't know who taking it, who's watching it, but for me, I believe in my channel, and I believe, look, this is a way of, obviously, my channel might not be big today, but who knows? But at the end of the day, the fact that we can share these type of stuff, that's what my channel is about. So I'm very grateful and happy that you're able to invite me. And hopefully, I hope you invite me to the Caribbean as well. And I'll definitely look forward to come down as well, for sure.
Definitely. Thank you so much again, guys. Go on his YouTube channel, MrCV. You can check our pages for the link. Until next time, try, walk good.